Good evening. Today we are going to start the new chapter, electromagnetic induction. Uh, this is the other unit, maybe fourth unit and the sixth chapter. We have studied about magnetic effect of current in the previous chapter, in which we learned that when electric current passes through a wire or a conductor, magnetic field is produced around it. So current is basically produced due to moving charges. When the charges move inside the conductor, current is constituted, because of which there is a magnetic field. So we can state it that moving charges produce magnetic field. Then scientists thought of, is the converse effect possible? That if we have the moving magnets, then is it possible to produce electric currents? So the answer is yes. They tried. It is the scientist Henry and Michael Faraday simultaneously. They did some experiments and they concluded that because of changing magnetic fields, currents can be induced in the conductors. So this phenomena is known as electromagnetic induction, which states that whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux, whenever there is a change in the magnetic fields, in turn magnetic flux, EMF is induced, electromotive force or the electric current is induced in the conductors. So that is actually the concept. So unknowingly we have introduced a word here, magnetic flux. Whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux, EMF is induced in the conductors, which is known as electromagnetic induction. So we have to first clarify ourselves what is magnetic flux and how it would be. Okay, and maybe this magnetic flux is new, but the word flux is not new. We have already studied about electric flux in the electrostatics. So in the same lines we are going to define this. So we begin the chapter, children. Electromagnetic induction. We will give the definition of electromagnetic induction in due course of time. Let us first try to define what is meant by magnetic flux. This is phi subscript B, whereas electric flux is written as phi subscript E. Phi. Now let us imagine a conductor or a coil which is lying at some angle in the magnetic field. So this is the coil, children, and now I am going to draw the magnetic field lines. So these lines are parallel to each other and all of them are pointing in the same direction with the same length. Okay, so therefore this is an example of uniform magnetic field B. So this is B and this is your coil, copper coil or any coil. Okay, right. Now if you, this is actually the area of the coil, and let us draw, this is the direction of magnetic field, children, and let me draw a normal to this coil, N cap. So this makes an angle theta with the magnetic field. Like this. Coil is like this only, and normal is perpendicular to my palm. It is making an arbitrary angle what, theta. Now if I go on turning it like this, now the plane of the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field lines and the normal will be pointing in the direction of magnetic field. And if I go on turning it like this, now the plane of the coil is parallel to magnetic field lines. The plane of the coil is parallel to magnetic field lines. And if at all, if I could draw a normal here, the normal will be like this. So as the plane of the coil is changing, the angle made by the normal also will be what? Continuously changing. Now, in some cases there will be maximum flux, and in some cases there will be a zero flux, and the flux magnitude varies between this maximum and zero. So when you hold the coil like this exactly perpendicular, so that the normal is in the direction of magnetic field, we say the magnetic flux is maximum. So now all the magnetic field lines will pass perpendicular to the plane of the coil. I repeat, under this condition, when normal makes zero angle with the field, or when the normal coincides with the direction of magnetic field, all the magnetic field lines will pass perpendicular to the coil. Therefore, flux is what? Maximum. If this is turned like this, now the plane of the coil is parallel to magnetic field, and the normal is perpendicular to magnetic field. Now the flux would be what? Zero. So, in order to satisfy these two conditions, when theta equals 0, the value should be what? Maximum. When theta equals 90, the value should be what? 0. For this we have only one trigonometric function, that is nothing but what? Cosine. Cos 0 is 1, cos 90 is 0. So therefore, what are all the things that are related to magnetic flux means? You have a coil which has got some area A, you have kept in a magnetic field, so you have magnetic field strength what? B. So now you have come across two physical quantities. One is B, the magnetic field, other is area of the coil A. And the angle made by this normal plays a major role in defining this magnetic flux. Okay, so in order to satisfy these three things, we will go for a mathematical expression in terms of what? Cosine. You know, children, cosine will come in the vectors only when you consider the dot product between the physical quantities. What are the physical quantities? One is B, other is what? A, area vector. So therefore, the dot product of B and A should give rise to what? Magnetic flux. So BA cos theta. Okay. Accordingly, we will produce the equation. So how do you define magnetic flux? Means number of magnetic field lines passing normal to plane of the coil is known as magnetic flux. So it is number of magnetic field lines passing normal to area of coil or plane of the coil. A is called magnetic flux. So therefore, phi subscript B equals to B dot A. I am writing directly. So how do you write these expressions or directly? Means this we have developed now. We have discussed why can I write only B dot A, why can't I write B cross A. B cross A will become a sine function where sine 0 will be 0, sine 90 will be what? 1. When the coil is like this, flux will be what? Maximum in such case if you use sine. So, but we are not using sine, we are going for only cos. So phi equals to B dot A. Okay, right. So the magnitude of the flux is, this implies phi subscript B equals to B scalar A scalar into cos theta. Okay, so here you know that B is a magnetic field, A is a area, here it is written, so this is area, and theta is shown here. So I mention here theta is angle between normal and magnetic field. Okay, right. Now, what is the nature of this magnetic flux? The dot product of two vectors is a scalar. So flux, magnetic flux rather it is a scalar quantity. It is a scalar quantity. No direction. What is the SI unit? SI unit. B is measured in Tesla. Area is measured in what? Meter square. Tesla into meter square. So T into meter square. This also will be written as children another unit, that is nothing but what? Weber. Okay, capital W, small b, in the name of the scientist. Okay. Now, when will be the flux maximum and when will be the flux minimum, that we have to see. Okay. Now, point number 1, flux is maximum. Flux is maximum when cos theta equals to 1. That is, theta must be equals to 0 degree. Or even it can be 180 also. Then during that time also the flux would be what? Maximum. After all, it is a scalar, so it has to take a negative sign. Cos 180 will be what? Minus 1. That is, phi max equals to, so flux is maximum when cos theta equals to 1. That means what is theta? Theta is the angle between normal and magnetic field. This is the normal and this is the magnetic field. So now normal should coincide with the magnetic field. So therefore the plane of the coil will be perpendicular to magnetic field. That is, plane of the coil is perpendicular to magnetic field. So phi max equals to BA into cos theta, cos 0 degree, that is B into A. Number 2. When is the flux 0? Flux is 0 when cos theta equals to 0 degree. Cos theta equals 0 value. This implies theta must be equals to 90 degree or 270 degree. What is theta? Theta is the angle between normal drawn and the magnetic field. When it will become 90 degree? When this is the coil, when you rotate it like this, then the normal will go upwards. So then the magnetic field lines will pass parallel to plane of the coil. So that is, plane of the coil is parallel to magnetic field. So for all other angles, the flux will vary between 0 and the maximum, that is nothing but what? B into A. So now at the beginning we said, children, electromagnetic induction is a phenomena in which there is a change in the magnetic flux. Whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux with time, EMF is induced, current is produced, current is generated, current is induced. So you need to produce a change in the magnetic flux. This is the expression for your magnetic flux. So in how many different ways you can produce change in the magnetic flux means either by increasing or decreasing the magnetic field. Sir, how is it possible to increase or decrease the magnetic field? We can do it. Take a solenoid, connect a battery, current will flow, magnetic field B equals mu naught IN will be produced along the axis. B can be changed by changing the I value. If you want to change the field, you want to change I. I can be increased with the help of rheostat, I can be decreased with the help of rheostat, accordingly B value will what? Change. So when B changes, the flux will what? Change from this equation. You can change area of the coil. How to change the area of the coil? You may allow the coil to contract in the magnetic field and to expand in the magnetic field. When it contracts, area will decrease. When it expands, area will what? Increase. Accordingly, there can be a change in the magnetic flux. So I am operating this keeping these two constants. Now I am operating this keeping these two constants. Third one is what? Theta. Neither I change field value nor I change A value, but I can change theta value. This is the easiest job for me. So have the coil like this. Do not increase or decrease its area. Do not change the strength of the magnetic field. Have a uniform magnetic field. Have a coil like this. Now just go on rotating this coil. As the coil rotates, the theta value will be what? Changing. Accordingly, flux will be what? Changing continuously. This is the easy job. Changing the orientation of the coil is the easiest job than changing B and A value. This is actually what the principle we use in AC generator, electric generator. In electric generator, we keep a coil, a copper coil, which is known as armature, between two strong magnetic poles, and we allow the coil to rotate. So as it is continuously rotating from 0 to 360, theta value will be what? Changing, flux value will be changing. Due to change in the flux, what will happen? Current is induced. Okay. Now, so this is all about magnetic flux, children. Magnetic flux definition: number of magnetic field lines passing normal to the plane of the coil or area of the coil or surface of the coil. It is a scalar quantity. It is mathematically defined as phi b equals to b dot a. Okay, right. Its magnitude is written as phi b equals to ba cos theta. Theta is the angle between normal drawn to the coil and the magnetic field direction. Okay. Now, SI unit is Tesla into meter square. Okay. Tm square, or it can be also measured in what? Weber. This is very classical unit. Okay. The cases of maximum and minimum flux we have discussed. Right. Now we will go to the heading of the chapter, that is nothing but what? Electromagnetic induction. So that abbreviated as EMI. It is not equated monthly installments, children, where your parents pay money to banks if they availed loan with the banks. Okay. So now, electromagnetic induction. So whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux, whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux, associated with a coil, there may be a flux, children, but if it is not associated with the coil, there is no use. It should linking with the coil. Associated with a coil, then what will happen? EMF, electromotive force, is induced in the coil. Fine. So for this we have experiments. In the previous class I demonstrated the activities on electromagnetic induction, a bar magnet and a coil, and a coil and another coil with a bulb, and that we are going to discuss now. So it is nothing but what? Faraday's experiments. Faraday's experiments. Okay, now first one, have a coil, children, here. Which is lying perpendicular to the plane of the board, like this, and here keep a magnet, north pole and south pole. Take a galvanometer or ammeter or connect a bulb, no problem. So here, if I take a galvanometer Galvanometer is preferred because it is a current sensitive device. It can measure very minute currents also, order of milli and micro amperes. Right. So now, so long as these two are at rest, stationary, this is a coil and this is a magnet, it is like this. So long as they are like this, the deflection in the galvanometer will be what? 0. That is, the pointer will not move at all. So here, let me keep this as a pointer and I name it as what? G. If I move now the magnet towards the coil like this with a speed V, then it is found that there is a deflection in the galvanometer. Okay. So, when I move the magnet towards the coil, I notice a deflection in the galvanometer. If I move it slowly towards the coil, the deflection is very minute. A very small deflection is detected. If I move it very rapidly, speed towards the coil, I notice that the deflection is large. So, when you keep it at rest, there is magnetic field, there is magnetic flux, this is a field line, this is another field line, this is another field line, this is one more, this is another, this is another, this is another. If you move it towards now, children, there are only 3 lines linking up if it is at rest. As it is moving 4, 5, 6, 7 like this, lines by lines, they will be linking up. That is, the flux is what increasing. Due to increase in the flux, a current is induced in it, because of which there is a deflection in the galvanometer. Now what will happen if I move it in the opposite direction? When I move it in the opposite direction, then also I notice a deflection in the galvanometer. When I move it away from the coil, then also I will notice a deflection in the galvanometer, but exactly in the opposite direction. Suppose when the magnet was coming towards the coil, let us say deflection was towards right in the galvanometer. If it moves away, you can notice that the deflection in the galvanometer will be towards left. So therefore, when the magnet is moving away, line by line will de-link with the coil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All 7 lines may. So, 7, then 5, then 3. Number of lines will be gradually decreasing. Because of this also there is a current. So therefore, children, not only increasing flux produces EMF or the current, even the decreasing also will produce what? EMF or current. So therefore, whenever there is a change, this word is very, very crucial word, important word. Change means it is not only increase, children, it can be decrease also. So either you can increase the flux or you can decrease the flux. I said one more thing to you. If I move the magnet slowly, the deflection is very minute. If I move it rapidly, the deflection is large. That means at what rate you are changing the flux is also very, very important. Not simply producing a change in the flux. At what rate you are producing. Within no time, if you are able to produce a large change in the magnetic flux, you can have a large current induced in the coil. Notice, children, we did not use any battery in this activity. We know that only from battery we can produce the current. You buy a cell from shop, connect it to small LED bulb will glow. The chemical energy is converted into what? Electrical energy. Electrical energy is converted into what? Light energy. But there is no battery we are using. The galvanometer is what? Only to show deflection. It is not a source. It is only a meter to measure the current. So without using the battery, is it possible to produce current? Means yes. This was a demonstration done by Michael Faraday. Okay. So when Faraday was demonstrating this activity in the streets, somebody asked him, what is the use of this very small current you are producing? What for we are going to use this? Then the answer of Michael Faraday was that, what is the use of a newly born baby? So, baby is born just now. How can you predict what he would become in future? Similarly, I might have produced a very small current now. But in future, this will grow in a larger scale, and your government itself is going to collect tax for the same thing. This is what we are seeing now. Every household is paying electricity bill to the electric board, to the government. It is all because of what? Michael Faraday. If Faraday was not had not discovered this phenomena, then we would not have enjoyed all these facilities now. Electric fans, bulbs, okay, transmission of 33 kilovolt, 44 kilovolt of voltages from generating station to the households. Okay, so this is one experiment. Okay, so on what factors the induced current depends on means the pole strength, children. If magnet is powerful, if it is very thick, then pole strength will be large, then it can produce a greater EMF in it. And the speed with which you are moving towards and away. And also the children, the number of turns. Yesterday in activity, I showed you that he was using a 1-turn coil, a 25-turn coil, a 100-turn coil. We have seen that in 100-turn coil, the current produced is what? Maximum. So it depends on the number of turns of the coil, it depends on the pole strength of the magnet, it depends on the speed of the magnet at which it is brought towards the coil and moved away from the coil. Okay, right. Now, in the second experiment, what Faraday did is, instead of using a bar magnet, okay, now can you give me some other idea, children? Can I replace this bar magnet with some other thing? I do not have a bar magnet, but I want something which can replace my bar magnet. In last chapter, the ending chapter of magnetic effect of current, we discussed that current carrying solenoid has an equivalent bar magnet. Do you remember? We proved that the magnetic field produced by a bar magnet is mu naught by 4 pi into 2m by r cube or x cube. A solenoid also, solenoid will produce B equals to mu naught In only along its axis. This is your solenoid, along the axis, this is the field available. If I want field somewhere here, due to this one, you have this formula, this what we have derived, mu naught by 4 pi into 2m by r cube, where m is magnetic dipole moment. So therefore, a current carrying solenoid can replace a bar magnet. So right, now in second activity, what Faraday did is, in the place of a bar magnet, he took a coil, solenoid. So this is a coil which is connected to a battery with a key or a switch. This is a plus minus. Now here there is a coil. There is a coil. So dotted line is behind the board and the solid line is on the board, so it is facing perpendicularly. Okay. Now we can connect a galvanometer here. Okay, right. So if these two are facing each other, the switch is not closed, nothing will happen, galvanometer will not show any deflection. Suppose if I close the switch, then immediately I found that there is a deflection in the galvanometer. I closed the switch and I kept it closed permanently. The moment when I was closing, I could detect a deflection in the galvanometer. But when it is closed and kept permanently, the deflection is disappeared. There is no deflection. The pointer has come back to 0 again. So what is happening when I close? Current will flow like this. It will flow like this. It will come like this and it will come here. So this will produce a magnetic field here, like this, like this. So it can extend up to the coil. If the coil is closed, all these lines will not link up. Some more, if it, okay, if I move it closer and closer, more and more number of magnetic field lines will be what linking up. Because of this magnetic field lines, what will happen? There was a deflection. Now also, if I close it permanently like this, now also all these field lines will be linking, no? So why there is no deflection? There is no deflection in the galvanometer because the field lines are neither they are increasing nor they are decreasing. That is, the flux remains what? Constant. Then the moment when I was closing it, how could I produce the change in the flux? Means, children, current is flowing in the circuit. Before closing the switch, the current was 0. After closing, let us say it is 1 milliampere current is going. Current will not abruptly jump from 0 to 1 milliampere, children. I told you this many times. No event in this world is all of a sudden. I repeat, no event in this world is all of a sudden. Everything is a time process. Maybe a split of time, maybe fraction of seconds, okay, but some time it requires. When I apply brakes, velocity will not become 0 all of a sudden. It requires some time. When I throw a stone upwards, it will not stop all of a sudden. Velocity gradually decreases and finally it will stop. So in the nature, no event is all of a sudden. Everything is time consuming. So the moment when I close the switch here, before closing the switch current was 0. Soon after closing the switch, the current is what? 1 milliampere. For current to grow from 0 to 1 milliampere, it requires some time. So current is gradually increasing from 0 to 1 milliampere. As the current is increasing, the field is gradually increasing. Because of increase in the field, the flux B, which is the dot product of this B dot A, as I is increasing, B also increases. As B increases, flux increases. So due to increase in the flux, EMF is induced. EMF is induced, electromotive force is induced, means voltage is produced. If there is voltage, there is a current. Voltage is nothing but what? Potential difference. So children, now remember, EMF is nothing but potential difference. I will tell you what is now. Okay, that potential difference can cause current in this. So whenever there is a change, so if I change current from 0 to 1 milliampere in a course of time, magnetic field is also changing from 0 to B and flux also changing from 0 to phi B. Because of this change, what will happen? EMF is what? Induced.